This is Thames Television, now the world news from ITN at 10.
Prince William's clubbed at school, an operation tonight. The security forces kill 3 IRA men. Mr. Major insists we've got our nerve and more new policies. Pit bulls will be neutered and muzzled, not put down. And when June comes, the snow's not far behind. Good evening. Prince William is undergoing surgery in hospital in London tonight. He was accidentally hit on the head with a golf club at school. ITN has learned that the blow damaged a bone in his skull, and surgeons decided to operate as a precaution. The Prince is in Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital in London. The Princess of Wales is with him. The Prince of Wales has been at the hospital. He left earlier. It's not clear how exactly the accident happened. Prince William, who's 9 in 3 weeks' time, was injured while playing with friends at Ludgrove Preparatory School in Wokingham in Berkshire. He's a boarder there.
The ambulance carrying Prince William arrived at the world-famous Children's Hospital in Great Ormond Street at 6:40 this evening. Inside, we glimpsed his anxious-looking mother, the Princess of Wales, who'd comforted him during the hour-long journey from Reading. The 8-year-old prince was said to be chatty and chirpy despite his head injury. Following close behind his equally worried father, Prince Charles, driven in by his detective. Extra police were already on guard. It was early this afternoon that the young prince had been rushed to Berkshire Royal Hospital after being hit on the head by a golf club at his school 6 miles away. He was admitted to the casualty unit for treatment and medical checks. Shortly after, both parents joined Prince William at his bedside. The Princess of Wales drove herself up from London. Prince Charles arrived 15 minutes later in his Aston Martin after being called away from a meeting at Highgrove House, their country home. According to eyewitnesses, the royal parents had reason to be concerned.
You saw Prince William?
Yeah.
What was he doing?
Laying in a bed, sort of strapped up in that, had a bandage on his head, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did it look like a bad cut?
It was bleeding, you could see there was blood showing through the bandage.
But did it look like a bad cut?
Well,
Yeah.
it did.
2 hours later, Prince William was carried into an ambulance and, accompanied by his mother, set off for London with a police escort. Following closely behind was Prince Charles, being driven by his detective. As the seriousness of his injury became clear, doctors had decided he should be transferred to a specialist hospital for further examination. It was a dramatic, high-speed dash as the royal convoy headed down the M4 motorway towards London and on to the Great Ormond Street Hospital. The accident had happened in the grounds of Ludgrove Prep School. It's understood Prince William was hit on the head by a golf club during his lunch break. The school stressed it was an accident. No one was being nasty to him, said a spokesman. He's a very well-liked boy. Prince William, who'll be 9 later this month, began at Ludgrove last September. Wearing his new school uniform, he'd shaken hands confidently with the headmaster. The young prince, an active sportsman, already a keen horseman, seen riding his favourite pony between his cousins Peter and Zara Phillips in Windsor Great Park. He's not quite so confident on the snow, despite practising on dry slopes at home. Little brother Harry rather stole the show this April. William, showing his feelings, rather openly stalked off. It seems he was now adding golf to his sporting repertoire. ITN has learned tonight that the blow damaged a bone in the prince's skull and that surgeons have decided to operate as a precaution. It's said that Prince William is being very brave about it all. Prince Charles left the bedside for an evening engagement but was being kept in constant touch with the developments. Jeremy Thompson, News at 10 at Great Ormond Street, London.
A team of surgeons from London hospitals was called into Great Ormond Street for Prince William's operation. It's regarded by surgeons as a straightforward operation, but the Prince is expected to have to stay in hospital for several days afterwards. Andrew Veach, science correspondent of ITN's Channel 4 News, reports.
At Great Ormond Street Hospital in London, doctors probably used a CT scanner like this to look inside the prince's brain. Any fragments of bone would show up on the scan. They needed to know the location and size of any fragment before planning the operation. The brain is covered by a thick, cushioned lining called the dura. Surgeons will want to know if a fragment of bone has pierced this lining. At this stage, there appears to be little danger of permanent damage, doctors say, but there may be a danger of infection. They will remove any broken bone, repair the dura, and give antibiotics to prevent any infection. They will then attempt to replace the fragment. Doctors say that because Prince William was conscious when he arrived, there is little risk of any lasting injury, and if all goes well, he could be sent home within a week. Andrew Veach, News at 10 at Great Ormond Street Hospital.
And Jeremy Thompson reports from Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital now.
Well, we understand that Prince William is having the operation tonight. We don't know when it started exactly, but it's going on now. Should be over in the next few hours. The Princess of Wales, who came here around 6:40 with Prince William in the ambulance from Reading, is going to be staying at his bedside, will stay here at Great Ormond Street overnight. Prince Charles, who went off to keep an engagement at the opera a couple of hours ago, is likely to be coming back. He's certainly being kept in constant touch at the moment. And just to remind you, we understand that the exploratory operation followed the blow to the head, which seems to have damaged a bone in the prince's skull. There's no statement yet on his condition, but we understand he's serious but certainly not critical. And it's likely that he will be kept here for several days after the operation. Now back to you in the studio.
3 IRA terrorists have been shot dead in an SAS ambush in Northern Ireland. The security forces say the men were killed as they prepared to attack Protestant workmen in the village of Coe in County Tyrone. Eyewitnesses said more than 200 shots were fired at the men's car before it crashed and caught fire. The 3 have been named as Peter Ryan, Lawrence McAnally and Tony Doris. The provisional IRA said they were on what they called active service.
The IRA men's car was riddled with automatic gunfire as it approached the centre of Coke village. It hurtled out of control, crashing into a parked car and a wall. Many of the shots hit the windows. But in this picture alone, there are more than 50 visible bullet holes in the bodywork, some of them in the petrol tank, which blew up, engulfing the cars and the IRA men's bodies in flames. Security sources say the IRA gunmen were planning to open fire on some Protestant workers being picked up a few yards from here, but an army unit was lying in wait. It's understood the SAS had a detailed intelligence report on the IRA unit's attack plans. One security source said that the undercover soldiers had an elaborate cover. This lorry is said to have been part of that plan. The SAS may actually have been hiding inside it. Security forces say 2 assault rifles were recovered from the scene. The IRA men were said to be burnt beyond recognition. There was swift political reaction, with a local unionist MP saying the military should use such tactics more often.
What I'm asking the politicians and those in government to remove the restraint, the political restraint, which is done for world consumption, and allow a military strategy to be devised that will defeat terrorism and therefore give Ulster its chance for real peace.
There is no military way of overcoming paramilitary violence, and any security policy that would lead to, as it inevitably would, to heavy harassment of one community will not succeed. It will play into the hands of the terrorists.
Justice is done through the courts. It is right that people are apprehended if they're breaking the law, that they are found guilty, and that they are sentenced for their crimes. If we talk about anything else, we're talking not about the process of law, but about the law of the jungle.
Cookstown Sinn Féin councillor Sean Begley arrived in Coke. Under government restrictions, his comments can't be broadcast. He claimed the soldiers used excessive force. He was arrested and driven away after demanding access to survey the scene for himself. The IRA men were well known to security forces. Peter Ryan, who has been on the run after a jailbreak 10 years ago, was wanted for terrorist crime in the area. Lawrence McNally was also an active IRA man whose brother was shot dead by loyalist terrorists in 1988. And Tony Doris, in his 20s, was also a known IRA member. The shooting of the men has prompted allegations going back to the mid-1970s of a shoot-to-kill policy. The controversy began in November 1982 when the RUC shot dead 3 IRA suspects. Then in Gibraltar in 1988, the SAS shot dead an IRA unit, 2 men and a woman, planning a bomb attack against British bandsmen on the colony. 5 months later, an SAS team trapped and killed 3 armed men who hijacked a car to murder a UDR soldier in Omagh. And in October of last year, the SAS killed 2 armed men, including Desi Grew, near Loch Gall in County Armagh. These latest killings add to a spiral of violence, including an upsurge in IRA killings, which some security chiefs fear is aimed at undermining the Brooke political initiative. Coke is a Protestant village, but a few miles away, in Republican areas, black flags were unfurled this evening, a pointer to the violent backdrop which overshadows the Brooke talks. Andrew Simmons, News at 10 in County Tyrone.
The politicians involved in the Brooke talks stayed away from Stormont today. Unionist leaders attending the funerals of the 3 UDR men murdered by the IRA on Friday night. Secretary of State Peter Brooke said the upsurge in violence would not succeed in knocking his initiative off course.
I think one of the profoundly encouraging things has been the universal view of all the politicians engaged in this process, that if the intent of the terrorists was to blow us off course in this process, that they have been singularly unsuccessful.
The Unionists have already put forward a list of 9 possible candidates to chair the talks. They're known to include Lord Rees, the former Secretary of State for Northern Ireland. Another candidate is Lord Lowry, Ulster's former Lord Chief Justice, and the former Conservative Attorney General, Lord Havers. But sources suggest none of these 3 will be acceptable to the Nationalists. The UDR funerals began with a service for Private Sidney Hamilton, whose remains were taken to his local Church of Ireland parish near Newry. His widow Jennifer and 3 children led the mourners. Private Hamilton's 4th child was killed in a road accident 18 months ago. His father, who was 44, now lies beside him. Lance Corporal Robert Crozier was afforded full military honours. He was the most senior officer to die in Friday night's attack at the Glenanne UDR base, in which the IRA used one of its biggest ever bombs against the security forces. Also buried today, Private Paul Blakely, aged 30, a father of 4, the youngest just 2 months old.
We've got to see progress in bringing the political leaders face to face to talk about issues of major importance. They themselves know that this sort of thing is not going to end overnight.
The violence has focused political minds here. Talks will resume in the morning after a day which saw 3 terrorists shot dead and 9 children bury their fathers. Jonathan Munro, News at 10 in Northern Ireland.
3 alleged IRA terrorists who were cleared of murdering 2 Australian lawyers in Holland in mistake for British servicemen are to face a new trial accused of belonging to an illegal organisation. The prosecution is appealing against the acquittal of Donna Maguire, Paul Hughes and Sean Hick on charges of murder. The 3 had been charged with killing Stephen Melrose and Nick Spanos in the Dutch town of Roermond a year ago. One man, Gerard Hart, is serving 18 years for the murders.
The Prime Minister, the opinion polls going against him tonight, denied that he or anyone else in government was losing his nerve. Mr Major said there was still a lot of innovative Conservative policy proposals to come forward and said he was leading from the front. He had a meeting with industrialists and council leaders earlier today about his proposed Citizens' Charter for improving public services. Labour tonight said that without better protection for consumers in the now privatised utilities like gas, electricity and water, Mr Major's plan would be no more than half a charter.
The Prime Minister began his working day at Chequers, with people like the chairman of British Rail and the head of the Consumer Council, joining others like County Council and Health Authority chiefs, and still others from the private sector. The chief executive of Marks and Spencer's was there, for example. 19 people in all called in to talk through plans for the Citizens' Charter, the big new policy idea, as the Prime Minister explained on his return to Downing Street, which he expects will truly revive the Tories' fortunes and proof, he said, that the government hadn't run out of steam.
What have we been doing this morning? Forming policy. Why have we been forming it? To improve public services. And for whom are we improving the public services? The public. That seems to me to be precisely and absolutely the job of government.
But what of Party Chairman Chris Patten's call to the Tory faithful earlier in the day? All we've got to do, Mr Patten had said, is to keep our nerve. So is the Prime Minister losing his?
Well, I'm certainly not, and I think you will find that nobody in the government is, and nobody in the Conservative Party is. And you will find, as you have seen over the last few days, there are a lot of policy proposals to come forward. You will find they are very innovative, and I think people will find them attractive.
But while Mr Major was at Chequers, Labour was busy yet again trying to steal the government's policy thunder by issuing its own ideas on how to prevent diseases like heart attacks and cancer 24 hours ahead of the government.
I welcome the fact that the government is this week, apparently, going to set targets for reducing such diseases. Anybody can invent targets for cutting disease, but targets won't hit themselves. The challenge is what action will government take to achieve those targets.
A Labour government would bring in a 30-point action plan, a ban on tobacco advertising, clearer labelling of alcoholic drinks, the return of guidelines for school meals. But the government isn't impressed.
Labour, while they define sensible objectives for the health service, are quite wrong in being committed to demolishing the management reforms we've put in place, which allow us effectively to deliver those objectives which are broadly shared between the two parties.
All of which only underlines the intensity of the battle that's going on at the moment for voters' hearts and minds, well ahead of any general election, and increasingly that election looks as though it'll be next year. The Liberal Democrats, of course, say that the government should simply get on with governing. But Labour, sensing that the government is in some trouble and seeing their own lead in the opinion polls, are determined to keep up the pressure. And the government is determined to show at every possible stage that they're the ones who are in charge, they're the ones with the ideas. This all means that this battle is not going to subside for some considerable time yet. Michael Brunson, News at 10, Westminster.
The government is to take reserve powers to muzzle all dangerous dogs under the forthcoming legislation expected to cope with dangerous fighting breeds. A report next. Plus, the soldiers of the Queen who fear they'll be told, fall out, and how freezing June may take the strawberries out of the cream. That's in a couple of minutes.
Guess who? It's the Lloyds Bank Savings and Mortgage Expert, thank you.
Hello, Ben. Got the story?
Story? Last Saturday's cricket match, 300 thrilling words. If you're learning to write, you better read this booklet, especially useful for total beginners.
Journalism in 10 easy lessons. Thank you. I've got a booklet for you too. The Lloyds Bank Home Buyer's Guide.
Especially useful for total beginners.
Hope it's big print.
Help and advice for first-time home buyers from Lloyds Bank.
Buy 1 Sainsbury's salmon steak per person. Lightly butter 2 pieces of cooking foil. Now slice a medium onion. Put a couple of rings on the foil. Add some fresh Sainsbury's dill. Place the salmon on top. Squeeze a little lemon and add a knob of butter. Season, wrap the salmon up and bake in a medium oven for 20 minutes. Meanwhile, empty 6 ounces of Sainsbury's fromage frais into a bowl. Finally, chop 1 bunch of watercress and add it to the fromage frais. Mix thoroughly and season. Remove the salmon from the foil and serve with new potatoes and the watercress sauce. It's very simple. It's very tasty.
Sainsbury's, everyone's favourite ingredient.
The new Audi 100,
call 0800 585 685 because you've got your whole life in front of you.
The government has decided not to order the destruction of all pit bull terriers and other dogs bred for fighting. It's now proposing that they should be neutered and muzzled when they're out among the public. New legislation would give the Home Secretary the power to order the muzzling of Alsatians, Dobermans and Rottweilers too, if attacks by them seem to warrant it.
Ministers now have a plan which they believe will not only wipe out the menace of the pit bull terrier, but could be extended to other breeds. Rottweilers might have to wear muzzles if the Home Secretary thinks it necessary, and Alsatians and Dobermans will also be covered by the same reserved powers. After taking expert advice, the Home Secretary has backed away from the idea of large-scale killing of pit bull terriers, but ministers say these proposals will still effectively eradicate the dog. Each of Britain's 10,000 pit bull terriers will in future have to be neutered and muzzled in public, registered with the police, and 2 vets must confirm its safety. Some backbenchers don't feel that's enough.
I think we're in danger of allowing our dog-loving hearts to rule our heads, because I think the evidence suggests that a neutered pit bull terrier is still an unsafe pit bull terrier.
And dog owners like Joe Graham, former editor of the Pit Bull News, says the law will be unenforceable.
And I can't see anybody, frankly, agreeing to neuter the dogs. Or very few people are going to agree to neuter the dogs. And the other problem the government have would be in identifying pit bull terriers to enforce this. They'd have the problem of proving that a dog is actually an American pit bull terrier, not a Staffordshire pit bull cross or a dog that just resembles a pit bull in appearance.
The argument over neutering pit bulls could be fierce, and suggestions of muzzling a whole breed like Rottweilers or even Alsatians is likely to be even fiercer. That could spread the net to 500,000 dogs and is opposed by the RSPCA.
If he does go forward with that approach, I don't believe that Parliament will back the Home Secretary. Clearly those individual animals, which are rogue animals, that's muzzling as an appropriate response, but as a general approach, an ineffectual and inappropriate one.
The government's expecting objections from those who say that pit bull terriers should be eradicated, but they believe their plan meets the same objectives. They feel that owners of pit bull terriers will not be interested in having such animals which are both neutered and on a leash. Meanwhile, they feel that their reserve powers involving dogs like Alsatians are an effective warning to all pet owners to keep their dogs under control. Peter Allen, News at 10, Westminster.
In Liverpool, the broad left, whom he'd supported when Labour expelled them, turned out in strength today for the funeral of Mr Eric Heffer, the Labour MP for Walton, who died of cancer last week. Mr Kinnock, criticised by Mr Heffer for Stalinist traits in his autobiography, was not there, though there was a wreath from him and the Parliamentary Labour Party. Mr Tony Benn said Mr Heffer's deep religious faith had given his political commitment a moral base.
The Defence Secretary, Mr Tom King, is to say tomorrow what manpower savings he's looking for in the Army, the so-called peace dividend, now the Warsaw Pact has gone. Army strength could be cut by 40,000 men. Old and proud regiments will go if they don't put up strong enough arguments for their survival.
No regiment awaits the government's decision on the Army's future more intently than the Blues and Royals. In the Household Division they have 2 jobs, fighters and ceremonial soldiers. Here at their barracks at Windsor they train for armoured reconnaissance. At Buckingham Palace they share mounted duties with the lifeguards. They fear the planners will ask the Queen to manage with fewer guards, which will mean the Blues and Royals would have to amalgamate. The 3 British tank divisions in Germany already know they'll be cut back to 1. What they don't know is which regiments will go, which will be amalgamated. Last week's decision on the future shape of NATO forces in Europe gave Britain the green light to press on with cutbacks. The overall size of the British Army is expected to fall from 155,000 men to 115,000. 19 out of 55 infantry battalions are likely to be axed. Armoured regiments could be cut from 19 to 12. Some regiments, like the Queen's, the Royal Anglians and the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers, each have 3 battalions now. They could lose a battalion each. Regiments like the Cheshires and the Gloucesters, with just 1 battalion, may be forced to amalgamate. The Army's no stranger to shrinkage. Regiments have joined many times this century. Despite vociferous rearguard campaigns like the Argylls in 1968, most regiments today are amalgamations of others. The present cuts were triggered by the collapse of the Warsaw Pact.
I think initially it was threat-driven, in that the end of the Cold War brought on demands for a peace dividend, a so-called peace dividend. But of late, I think it's fair to say, the Treasury has been panicking, and of late there are signs that it is cash-driven, Treasury-driven.
During the next 2 months, the fight for survival by some of Britain's most prestigious regiments will reach its climax. The government is expected to announce a full list of which regiments will survive by the end of July. The eventual decision will be welcomed, if only because it closes the gates on the uncertainty that's dogged the army for the past year. Geoffrey Archer, News at 10, Windsor.
Britain is applying to extradite an American whom police want to question about the murder of the student Catherine Ayling. Catherine's body was found in the boot of a car at Gatwick Airport on Saturday, 3 days after she disappeared from college in Cheshire. Curtis Howard, who's 26, appeared in court in Boston, Massachusetts today, charged with passport offences. He's believed to have flown to the United States last Thursday, the day after Catherine disappeared. The court remanded him in custody until next Thursday, when the extradition hearing is expected to take place.
And the main point of the news again, 3 IRA members have been killed in an SAS ambush at Coch in County Tyrone. Security forces say they were preparing to attack Protestant workmen in the village. And Buckingham Palace has just confirmed that Prince William's had an operation after being accidentally hit with a golf club. Jeremy Thompson is at London's Great Ormond Street Hospital.
Well, the latest news is that Prince William has undergone his operation and it's been a success. It lasted about an hour and a quarter. It was carried out by a neurosurgeon, Mr. Richard Hayward, under general anaesthetic. What appears to have happened is that the blow caused a depressed fracture of the forehead just above the eye, and this operation basically corrected that, pulling the bone away from there. The palace are saying that he's stable at the moment and that they expect no permanent damage, and he should be out of here in a few days from now. For the moment, though, the Princess of Wales, his mother, is staying overnight with Prince William. But with that optimistic news, it's back to you in the studio, Alistair.
Finally, it may be June, but as everyone knows, the weather is anything but flaming. Chilly winds from the North Pole are being blamed for this cold spell. It's even been snowing in some parts of the north, and the forecasters say the snow is now heading south.
The snow and blizzard conditions in the Highlands caught many hill walkers completely by surprise. Here in the Cairngorms, an air rescue helicopter from RAF Lucas was out searching all day for 2 birdwatchers reported missing. Eventually they were tracked down. They'd been forced to take shelter and see out the storms.
This can happen in June. So clearly, anyone going out onto the hills at the moment needs to be aware that the conditions are winter.
The advice to everybody here then, be prepared or keep off the mountains.
Well, I mean, I've never been up Cairngorm before, so I didn't quite know what to expect. But yeah, I did think it was a bit heavy for June.
We're going to do several days camping, but the weather's looking fairly bad and we're not particularly experienced. So we thought better safe than sorry.
The conditions are changing every few minutes. The forecast is for more snow. In Kent, the forecast is for frost in 2 days' time as the Arctic chill moves southwards. That could mean catastrophe for the strawberry crops in the Garden of England, now at their most vulnerable. This farm near Maidstone could lose up to 80% of its harvest.
If we had, shall we say, -2 centigrade tonight, then the results would be pretty disastrous.
The weathermen say a stream of very cold air from the Arctic, merging with moist air from the Atlantic, has been the cause for the unseasonal chill.
And on Wall Street, the Dow Jones Index has ended another 8 points up at another new record. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Good night.
Next this evening, the ITV National Weather. That's followed by the Thames Area News. And if you want a movie, don't forget Robert Redford stars and Brubaker at 10:40.
Hi, taxpayers! Batman here to the rescue!
Those Thames-Ford dealers have agreed to pay half your VAT when you buy any new Ford from now until the end of June. You'd save £861 on this Fiesta! And £1,317 on this Sierra! So come on down!
Make a deal and drive away a Batmobile!
Thames Ford dealers. Better deals from better dealers.
I don't suppose you have a copy of Fly Fishing by J.R. Hartley. It is rather old. It's by J.R. Hartley.
No luck, Dad. Never mind. There's still a few more to try.
Good old yellow pages. We don't just help with the nasty things in life, like a blocked drain. We're there for the nice things, too.
You do? Oh, that's wonderful. Can you keep it for me? My name, oh yes, it's J.R. Hartley.
This is the latest British gas kitchen, with fully fitted carpet, running water, plenty of storage space, a good larder, and here's the cooker. With instant heat and adjustable flames, it's now as easy to cook outdoors as it is inside. We can even supply you with a silvery moon. For more information on British Gas barbecues, gas lights and other outdoor products, the natural place to go is your British Gas showroom. Gas, the heat of the moment.
Brains, who would I call for instant car insurance?
Swinton, or Lady Penelope.
Thank you, Brains.
We were the first airline in the world to provide stewardesses. The first to establish flight kitchens for meals. The first to fly 1 billion passenger miles in a month. And the first to fly 100,000 passengers in a single day. Today, we're the biggest airline across the United States and the Pacific. Now we're flying out of Heathrow, direct to major U.S. cities and to 200 more beyond. We are United Airlines. Be the first to fly our friendly skies out of Heathrow.
Which compact powder gets your whites ultra-white and squeezes a bit off the price? Daz Ultra, at a price that's right.
What happens when the 24-carat power of an advanced multi-valve engine meets the 24-carat refinement of a new Scorpio? You get the 24-carat luxury of the new Scorpio 24-valve. The 24-carat Ford.
Good evening. Well, it's been a chilly, showery day for most of the country today, and more chilly and showery weather to come over the next day or so. Here's what's happening. Basically, we have low pressure in Scandinavia, high pressure there close to Iceland, and that means a long run of cold northerly winds. Those winds, in fact, we can trace all the way back up to the North Pole, bringing with them a fair few showers through the night tonight, around the coast in particular, down onto the Scottish mountains where you're likely to see some snow. Indeed, you possibly see some sleet or snow as far south as Snowdonia. But inland it'll become drier and clearer, and with lighter winds that means, of course, a fairly cold night, ground frost in many places, perhaps even a touch of air frost here and there by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow then starts like this. Many inland areas dry, quite bright, a fair amount of sort of early morning sunshine. There are plenty of those showers still around the coast, some of them still quite heavy. Very gradually through the day then those showers developing more widely as they begin to move inland. I think most of us will see a shower before the day's out. Best places for the dry weather, probably the central lowlands of Scotland, southern parts of Wales, perhaps along the south coast and the Channel Islands too. Temperatures tomorrow, well, at the best in those brighter spots, around 14, which is 57, but generally speaking chilly, 10, 12, 50 to 52 Fahrenheit, with a brisk northerly wind making it feel quite chilly. That's it from me. Good night.
Good evening. A man's being questioned tonight after a high-speed chase across East London ended with 2 road crashes involving 5 cars and a bus. It began in Chigwell after a woman spotted a stolen car outside her house. Police chased the black Renault to the Blackwall Tunnel and back to Leighton, where it crashed with 3 cars. It sped off but collided seconds later with another 2 cars and a hopper bus. During a further chase on foot, a policeman had a chemical squirted in his face. A man was arrested. Directors of a London college ordered to close because of poor standards have condemned the government decision as a terrible mistake. South West London College in Tooting has been told to shut down this summer because of low standards and poor management. Simon Neve reports.
The college is the first ever to be ordered to shut on the grounds of low standards. It follows a highly critical inspector's report. The acting principal, who's also head of Thames Polytechnic, says the closure is an expensive mistake. The college could have been merged with the Poly.
That would have meant that the staff of the college would have been working with experienced higher educationalists. The Polytechnic has a long reputation of very successful mergers, which were noted by HMI and commented on favourably.
And it's not at all like what people have been saying. Standards are pretty good.
My personal lecturers that I have, I found the standards very good indeed.
None of the 200 lecturers will lose their jobs. The Tooting Further Education site will be run by Wandsworth Council, and the 2,200 students will be found alternative places.
There are calls tonight for stricter checks on medical qualifications as a failed medical student starts a 33-month jail sentence for posing as a doctor. The Old Bailey heard how Rakesh Sood from Wallington prescribed controlled drugs at his slimming clinic in Thornton Heath, examined pregnant women and even authorised abortions.
Rakesh Sood was a failed medical student who hoodwinked not only patients but also the General Medical Council into believing he was a doctor. He obtained from the GMC a certificate to practice in Britain after falsely telling them he'd qualified in South Africa.
The court was told that between May 1989 and January of last year, Sood was able to use the certificate to masquerade as a doctor, prescribing controlled drugs and examining patients. During that time, he worked in a number of slimming clinics in the southeast.
One of the clinics who employed him says the case raises disturbing questions.
It's something of great concern that the General Medical Council could give a certificate to somebody on bogus qualifications, and I think it's something which has to be investigated.
Apart from slimming clinics, Sood worked twice for the British Pregnancy Advisory Service in Victoria, where he examined pregnant women and signed authorisations for 7 of them to have abortions.
Crime has jumped by a quarter in Essex. The figures out today reflect a rise in offences right across the home counties. Sally Arthey reports.
Yesterday morning, a mother of 3 was found stabbed to death here at her home in Billericay. The number of murders in Essex is one figure that's gone down, from 11 in 1989 to 9 last year. But overall, the number of crimes went up, a rise of 25%. That's on a par with increases across the home counties, except for Bedfordshire, where crime soared by 31% in 1990. The Chief Constable of Essex described today's figures as very worrying, but said there was a misplaced fear of crime in the county.
The likelihood of being assaulted or indeed attacked in any way is still remote, certainly here in Essex. If you're a young man in the age group 18 to 20 and you go out drinking on a Friday or Saturday, then clearly you're at a higher risk. But for women in the middle-aged group, then the likelihood of being assaulted or attacked is remote in the extreme.
Disruption for Euston Rail commuters will continue tomorrow. British Rail engineers are still trying to clear the tracks 24 hours after an intercity locomotive was derailed outside the station. Local services from Watford Junction will still be terminating at Kilburn High Road during the morning rush hour, and services between Euston and Birmingham will stay reduced from half-hourly to hourly. Guns boomed out across the Thames this afternoon in a belated commemoration of Coronation Day. The Honourable Artillery Company were at the Tower of London to deliver a 62-gun salute. The adventures of international rescue have been brought back to life on the London stage tonight. A new stage show has opened, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the classic TV puppet series Thunderbirds.
25 years on and Thunderbirds has become a cult. Those fragile little puppets have taken to the stage for the show Thunderbirds, The Next Generation.
Right here, Father. Scott.
Two men, masters in the art of mime, bring the characters to life.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun on stage and we hope the audience have a lot of fun. I mean, that's the whole idea of it. I mean, it is a fun show to do.
The man who created Thunderbirds, Jerry Anderson, has his own fans called Fandersons. They were out in force tonight, dressed in character, but what's the attraction?
It's timeless quality. It just seems to go on and on.
The premiere attracted some familiar faces. Surely they didn't pull any strings for their tickets. The show runs at the Mermaid Theatre until the end of March.
And the Thames weather, dry and mainly clear overnight. The low 3 degrees Celsius, that's 37 Fahrenheit. Tomorrow, a dry and sunny start, but by the afternoon, scattered showers. Some will be heavy and there's a risk of hail and thunder. The top temperature, 13 Celsius, 55 Fahrenheit. And that's the Thames News on Monday, June the 3rd. Good night to you.
Entertainment tomorrow on ITV at 8, The Bill.
Whose jacket's this?
Mine.
Tosh?
Yeah?
It's busting the Wilson voice.
You put it there. You saw him, he put it there.
Then at 8:30, Nicky Campbell's your host for a new series of Wheel of Fortune. And at 9, Chancer.
I'm here for one reason only, to retrieve my grandson. Where is he?
You're expecting me to drive you to your death. The last episode of Chancer at 9. And with First Tuesday at 10:40, that's tomorrow on ITV.
A tough prison ridden with corruption and a new warder. That's Robert Redford. He's Brubaker. That's the movie next on ITV.